Hello, everyone. Hope you're having a great day today. My name is Steve. Thank you so much for stopping by my channel. I think it's been 5 or 6 days since I made my last video, and I'm sure a number of you have been wondering where I've been at over these last 5 or 6 days. And unfortunately, I got hit with a really bad stomach bug. And then on top of that, the early fall allergies have just been hitting me really, really hard. So that combination has kind of just knocked me out over the last week. And, generally I have a pretty strong immune system and I don't get sick very often, but for some reason, it seems like when people don't get sick very often, although it is a rarity for them to get sick, they get sick really, really strongly when they get sick, if that makes any sense. And that's me, unfortunately. I go years in many cases without getting sick at all. And then all of a sudden I'll get one sickness that'll just knock me down really, really hard. But I think the one thing that I can say was a blessing through all this is that over the last little while, I've been taking a really great probiotic and seeing how this bug has been affecting other people in my area. I must say, I think the probiotic has definitely saved me quite a bit of time on this of getting back to normal. I'm so thankful I was taking that probiotic, because if I wasn't, I can imagine I would still just be completely knocked out, because unfortunately it's just a really, really strong whatever it is going on around here. But yeah, I've definitely lost a little weight, good or bad. I guess I could say that's definitely the case. And definitely my energy is definitely not where I'd like it to be right now. I'm sure you can kind of see that in me. But anyways, guys, enough rambling about that. I just thought I would let you guys know what's been going on with me. That's where I've been at over the last 5 or 6 days. I forgot how many days now. But anyways, guys, so I kind of wanted to come back, and make this first video back after this break of sorts. Just kind of something lighthearted and fun, and I've had a lot of people recommend that I check out the Great British Bake Off. I don't really know anything about it, except obviously it's some sort of a baking competition in Britain. But beyond that, I really don't know the ins and outs of it. But I've had a lot of people recommend it, and I came across this compilation. I was like, yeah, that'd be kind of cool. It looked fun. The thumbnail definitely grabbed my attention. So anyways, guys, enough rambling from me, guys. Let's just go ahead and check out the top 10 worst Great British Bake Off creations.
For this list, we'll be looking at the very worst the GBBO and the celebrity spin-off have to offer. From mishaps that escalated into disasters to just outright awful bakers, it's all going to be here. Number 10. Ryland's Poo.
It's like a small cove, and it's a massive rock in the middle of the ocean, and it's beautiful.
You'd be right believing that some of the absolute worst creations on this show come from the celebrities, who, quite frankly, have no clue when it comes to baking. Very few can compare to this file suite by reality star Ryland Clark, who had attempted to make a bake shaped like a cove in Ibiza.
Wow, darling, you're going to find that dog and punish it.
Something that would clearly be hard to convey as appetizing on premise alone. But somehow, Ryland managed to make it look like a big dollop of poo. Somehow, the rest of this bake made up for the harrowing sight.
I do find the rock fascinating.
We thought they were going to poo-poo it.
Number 9.
Dude, that was crazy, man. Okay, he failed. And what in the world is this?
Celebrity faces. After watching the first
Guess who?
showstopper round
I have
of
no
season
idea
11,
who that is.
we believe there may be some people who no longer believe that imitation is the sincerest form of flattery.
That's about as far away from David Bowie as you could
David
possibly-
Bowie?
Yes, he's lost his neck.
Tasked with creating a
lost his
bust of a
neck.
celebrity they admire, the baker surprised us all with an array of hilarious results.
Sorry.
You're not supposed to laugh.
From a Freddie Mercury that many likened to the Pringles Man.
I mean, I guess I can say the
nightmarish David
mustache that
Bowie,
gives them away,
to
but
David Attenborough taking a tumble. Many conceded that the disastrous result seemed fitting for the unprecedented theme of 2020.
I have no
It's a
idea. who that is.
reclining.
He's having a nap.
Most of the results were laughable, but who doesn't need a good chuckle these days? Number 8. Dan's portrait.
My hands.
There are more flattering ways to portray your newborn baby. When the bakers were challenged to create a self-portrait, Dan chose to draw himself with his child on a biscuit. Say what you will about his amateurish drawing of himself, but the baby is sure to get your eyebrow raising.
What are you holding?
The baby.
Oh, I thought it was something else.
All suggested that it looked more like a shrimp than a child, but the viewers at home had far more dirty thoughts as to what it looked.
He actually did a good job on, like, everything else except for the baby. This looks like an interesting show. I always like Master Chef and stuff like that. I think you guys actually have Master Chef UK, don't you? Do you guys have Hell's Kitchen UK as well? I love all the Gordon Ramsay shows that are in the US, but I think you have a number of them that are, I think he actually got his start. I know he got his start in the UK, obviously, because he is British, but I think he actually started some of those shows that are now in the UK, like Hell's Kitchen or MasterChef or something like that in the UK. But I like those shows, and this looks like an interesting show. We have something similar to this, I think. I can't remember. It's something sweet, sweet. I can't remember the name of it, but yeah, this looks interesting.
I question the baby, though. Looks like a massive prawn.
Perhaps something more phallic. Maybe choose a different colour next time, Dan. Number 7. Jamie's banana loaf. If the heir to McVitie's and founder of Candy Kittens promises to produce a delicious cake, you'd believe him, right?
You know when you were blitzing all those things together, it's not necessarily how you do a sponge.
Is it not?
No.
Jamie Ling announced that he had never even touched flour before, and then proceeded to mix his banana loaf ingredients in a food processor.
Hold on, he's never touched flour before? Okay, wait. This is the Great British Bake Off. Oh wait, this was a celebrity version, wasn't it? I bet. Okay, but still, like, okay, I would assume that if you're on the Great British Bake Off, you're already, I don't know, maybe you have some sort of small time bakery or something like that, and you're just, I don't know, who goes on this show? I mean, I figure it's more than just like. I guess what I'm saying is I would assume that they would have a lot of experience with baking, and they would be like some of the top bakers in the country that would go on to this show. But I'm not really sure.
All at once, allegedly following his mother's example. Despite its unappetizing texture,
yeah, the texture looks
bravely tasty,
gross, man.
But regretted
it's very smooth.
After.
That's delicious.
Oh, that is disgusting. That is so disgusting.
Prue spat hers out, and Paul dubbed it the worst cake ever baked in the tent. Well, at least there was only really one way he could go from there.
I've created a new substance that no one has ever found before.
Number 6. Dorette's Black Forest Gâteau. In the season premiere of the 6th series of Bake Off, the contestants were charged with making their spin on a classic Black Forest Gâteau for the showstopper round. But Dorette was off to a rough start when her mousse didn't set properly, making it impossible for her cake to retain any structural integrity.
What in the world?
Reason. No, because it's just a cake.
Okay, that didn't work out very well.
It is just a cake.
Dorette was understandably devastated when her gâteau completely collapsed,
Wow.
leaving a gooey mess instead
Yikes.
of a pretty end result. Despite this major error, though, she managed to stay in the competition for another couple of episodes after the incident.
Really?
Number 5. Ruby's
that
Cakes.
Are you doweling it, or...?
Yeah, so I have dowels in there because obviously it's quite a tall cake. So I want to make sure it looks all nice and sturdy. I don't want any wonky cakes.
Baking using only vegan-friendly ingredients can be tricky enough.
Oh, yeah, I bet that is
Creating
tricky.
a gorgeous tiered cake without using eggs and dairy like you're used
Oh,
to
man.
result in complete
Yeah.
chaos. That's what happened for Ruby in Series 9, when her showstopper couldn't stand up on its own.
Yeah, then it'll be fine.
I don't think that's gonna... Uh-oh.
When the clock ran out in the baker's tent, her cake wasn't stable, so she was forced to leave the tent and hope for the best. But the other contestants watched helplessly from outside as the dessert slowly toppled over onto her workstation.
Oh.
Number 4.
By the way, okay, so while my wife uses like oats instead of wheat and stuff like that sometimes, or almond flour, uses different flours beside wheat. But I can't imagine baking a cake without eggs. How do you even do? What are you using? Like, well, I don't know. That's kind of odd. I can imagine that that's not going to work out too well.
James's barn.
This isn't at all my sort of baking, but I have come round to this challenge.
For the quarter-final of the third series of Bake Off, James Morton endeavoured to make a wood-frame gingerbread barn, but it ended up falling apart, forcing him to put a spooky spin on it, calling it a haunted barn, and even adding cobwebs.
Total disaster. It's gone from looking rather lovely to absolute disaster.
While what he intended was an indisputable failure, the end result wasn't actually that bad, and he was even named Star Baker that week. Not only that, but he ended up in the final of the show and has been successful ever since.
If that's the look you were going for, top mark.
Number 3, a salty treat.
Oh, I've messed up big style here.
John Waite eventually became the winner of the third series of Bake Off, but in the season premiere, things didn't look too hopeful for this baker. During the technical challenge, the contestants were charged with making rumbabas, and John mistakenly used salt instead of sugar in his dough.
I'm just trying to slice off the salted part of the baba. I'm fighting for my place in the competition now.
The result was about as disastrous as you would imagine, with Mary refusing to touch them and Paul spitting them out.
There's too much salt in there.
Somehow, though, John only came second to last in the ranking, managing to edge out Natasha, who was eliminated that episode. Number 2, the not-so-baked Alaska.
Baked Alaska. I don't know what that is. I know the name, though. Baked
Ask
Alaska.
any Bake Off fan what the most dramatic moment in the show's history is, and they'll undoubtedly agree it was this one. Dubbed Bingate by fans and the press, this incident took place in the 5th series in the Desserts episode, when the contestants were asked to make their versions of a baked Alaska for their showstopper.
Where's my ice cream?
It's here. Sorry, Ian.
Ian's dessert was chilling when fellow baker Diana removed it from the fridge for an indeterminate amount of time, causing it to melt in the sweltering heat. While this would have been an unfortunate occurrence, Ian made it a true disaster when he had a tantrum and threw the entire dessert in the bin.
No.
Number 1.
Oh my goodness. I'd be pissed. You shouldn't have points taken off for you because someone does something like that. Takes your thing out and doesn't put it back in the freezer. Although he shouldn't have threw it out. He should have just gone with it and just said what happened. But they said the dessert episode. I was assuming that the Great British Bake Off would be all desserts. Like, what else are you baking? I mean, obviously I understand you do, what do you bake? I mean, a baked potato and stuff like that, but when I think of baking something, it's all desserts. So I guess that's not true though. I know you guys in the UK do a lot of meat pies and things like that. I've never really ate a meat pie. I can't really think of anything that I eat that's not a dessert that would be baked. Like a baked potato, but we usually like an Instant Pot for that or something. Anyways, doesn't matter.
Lucy's showstopper cake. It's a rare honour to get a Paul Hollywood handshake. It's even rarer still to have him spit your bake out in disgust. But that's exactly what happened to Lucy Beaumont on Stand Up to Cancer.
Can I just do this a second? That's your cake? That's your sponge?
While the other contestants brought their A-game, Lucy floundered when creating her Sunday lunch cake, which featured cake layers of varying burntness. As Prue said, it looked less like Lucy's dream day and more like her nightmare.
Oh, Paul.
I think Paul likes it.
As such, she was named the worst baker to ever step foot in the tent.
Do you agree with our picks?
That looks like it. Here's the thing. So I'm looking at this, right? I'm thinking, isn't this someone who supposedly is coming on this show because they are good at baking? And if so, while I can understand that you might mess up on a design or something like that, how do you end up being this bad at baking if you're supposedly already good at baking? Or am I missing the whole concept here? Is this show not about bakers that are already good at baking coming on to see who is one of the best bakers in the country? For example, sort of like MasterChef. If you've ever seen MasterChef, the concept is basically some of the top home or amateur cooks, amateur chefs from around the country that come in to have this competition that they end up, the winner is basically crowned the master chef or the best amateur chef in the country. And that's basically the premise of it. And so I'm assuming that this has got to be something similar, but looking at something like this, I'm like, that doesn't look to be one of the best bakers in the country. I don't understand how that's possible. But anyways, guys, this looks like a really interesting show. I can see why a lot of people recommended that I check it out. It looks fun. I really like these types of cooking shows. I haven't seen, like I said, we have a show. I wish I could remember the name of it. I only saw a few episodes. I think it might have been on Netflix or something. I don't think it's actually on TV. I think it's on one of the like Netflix or Hulu or something. I think it was something like sweet something. I don't know, but it's all about desserts, which I thought this was all about desserts, but now I'm curious because they said it was a dessert episode that makes me think maybe they're baking other things beside desserts. And I guess certain things that you're baking with maybe cheese or meat pies, obviously those are desserts, baked potatoes. And of course you can bake things like your baked salmon and things like that. But I don't know. When I think of the word bake, I just, the first thing that comes to my mind are desserts, So it's interesting. Please let me know in the comments, guys, what the whole concept of this show is. Is it about desserts? Or is it about a lot more than just desserts? And is it sort of like MasterChef? I'd like to check out some episodes of this show at some point. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for stopping by. Please click that like button. Feel free to drop your comments or suggestions about this video or others. And don't forget to subscribe to continue to follow me in my journey to discover my British and Irish ancestry. Till next time, guys. Peace.